It's the morning after. They're right there at the counter buttering toast, and you say good morning. You get a nod. Not a cold one, just a nod where a word used to go. You pour your coffee. They step aside to let you past. They even hand you the milk. Everything works, everything is polite, and one exact channel has been switched off, and you can feel which one. They are not gone. That's the strange part. They're almost closer than usual, doing the dishes you would have done, present in every single way except the one that actually counts. You ask if everything is okay. You get back the smallest possible yes, just enough word to prove they're still speaking to you, and not one syllable more. And that is the whole design. It has to stay deniable. If you say they've gone quiet on you, they can hold up that one small word and say, I answered you. What are you even talking about? So here's the thing you already know in your body and haven't said out loud. That is not the absence of a message. That is the message. It's the loudest thing they'll say all week. Which is the question this whole thing is built to answer. Why would a person stay in the room and take themselves out of it at the same time? Why not just leave? Because leaving would end it. If they left, they'd have to come back, or not. This isn't leaving. This is staying exactly close enough that you have to keep feeling the door they closed. And once you see what the silence is actually reaching for, you can't unsee it in anyone. Including, by the end of this, yourself. Start with the part nobody likes to say about it. The silent treatment is a move. And people only reach for a move when it's the one that has actually worked before. So go back to the first time it worked. Picture a house where you did not have a vote. Not a cruel house, necessarily. Just one where your yes and your no landed in the same place, which was nowhere. You could argue and lose. You could agree and nothing moved. Same result either way. When you can't add anything, can't out-talk them, can't outrank them, can't make them do one single thing, you find the one lever a powerless person still owns. You can subtract yourself. You go flat. You stop answering. You take the one thing they never thought to ask for but were always leaning on, you, there, joining in, and you quietly switch it off. And the first time a kid does that almost by accident, just shuts down, goes gray, stops playing along, something happens that never once happened when they shouted. Somebody comes to find them. Somebody follows. The quiet pulled a whole person across the house that no amount of noise had ever moved. And the lesson lands deep, underneath words, where you can't get it back out. I can't make them listen. But I can make them chase. And in a different kind of house it doesn't start from having no vote. It starts from the opposite. From it being dangerous to have one. A house where a raised voice meant the night was about to tip over. Where the safest thing a kid could do was get small, go quiet, and disappear before the thing landed. So silence started as a bunker. Somewhere you went to survive the weather. And then it grew up with you, and hardened, until it was the only move you had for anything that felt like conflict at all. Now here's the detail that gives the whole thing away, whichever house it came from. The absence has to be seen. A silence with nobody watching does nothing at all. A person who genuinely wants to be left alone goes somewhere you are not. They leave the room. They go quiet where the quiet costs nothing, because nobody is there to count it. The silent treatment does the exact opposite. It stays. It sits at the same table, rides in the same car, sleeps on its own hard edge of the same bed. Present, on purpose, and sealed. Because a broadcast needs a receiver. They're not leaving the room. They are staying inside it so that you can watch them not be in it. That's the whole line between this and simply walking away. Walk away and you're gone. This makes sure you can see the door the entire time it stays shut. And watch how carefully the quiet gets placed. The sigh that lands just as you walk in. The bedroom door easing shut a half second after your foot hits the top stair. All of it timed to be caught. None of that is for them. Every bit of it is for you. A silence arranged this carefully isn't withdrawal. It's a performance of withdrawal, staged in a theater built for one. So if it's a message, then read it. Strip the quiet off the top and there's a sentence underneath, and it is always the same sentence. Come and get me. Come across the house. Come and ask again, softer this time. Come and prove you noticed I was gone. Do the thing nobody did the night I sat in the corner at 9 years old and waited. The silence is a hand held out backwards. Palm open, arm behind the back, so they never have to turn around and be the one who reached. Because reaching is the one thing they cannot do. To reach out loud, to your face, would mean admitting they need you to come back. So they build a way to be chased without ever being caught wanting it. Now watch who actually gets this from them, because this is where the whole thing rolls over and shows its underside. The stranger who takes their parking space. The colleague who talks straight over them in the meeting. The waiter who brings the wrong plate. Do they freeze any of those people out for 3 days? They don't. They can't. You cannot give the silent treatment to someone who doesn't want you back. Point it at a stranger and it just looks like a stranger being quiet. It does nothing. The freeze only works on a person who is already waiting for you to speak. Who feels the hole the second you go? Who will get up and come and knock? Which makes the silence a test with a needle on it. And the thing it measures is how much you want them back. So the size of the freeze tells you something they would never once say out loud. A stranger gets nothing. You get 3 days of it. That is not you being unforgivable. That is them being unable to lose you. The people they could walk away from clean, they never bother to punish. The freeze is reserved. It is the coldest thing they own, and they only ever aim it at someone they are quietly terrified of losing. Sit with how backwards that is. The person getting days of ice is, by the plain maths of it, the most important one in the room. The freeze is love with the wires crossed behind the wall. But here is where the move begins to eat itself. Because anything that works the first time teaches the other person what's coming the second. The first freeze, you panic. You chase. You knock. You say, what did I do? I'm sorry, please just talk to me. And it works perfectly, they got every single thing they were reaching for. So it comes back. And by the 5th time you know the whole shape of it before it even lands. You know how long it runs. You know it always ends on its own if you just wait it out. And the day you stop chasing is the day the silence quietly breaks. Because now it goes out, the cold shoulder, the shut door, the one-word answers, and nothing at all comes back. The broadcast is still going out. The receiver just stopped listening. And now they are standing in a room performing an absence for an audience that has quietly gone home. And here is the trap snapping all the way shut. They cannot be the one to end it. Because whoever speaks first, loses. Speaking first means it was them who needed the other person more. And needing you more is the exact thing the whole silence was built to bury. So they hold it. Long past the point it does anything at all. You've watched the endgame of this somewhere. 2 people who haven't properly spoken in days, both waiting for the other to crack, both dead certain they're the wronged one. A whole house running on held breath. Neither of them can even remember the thing it started over. The silence stopped being about that on the first night. Now it's only about who is willing to need the other one out loud. Pull back and look at what it costs over a whole life. Every freeze slowly trains the people who love them to expect the freeze. To flinch a little. To handle them like something that might go off. And the ones who refuse to be handled carefully, who won't chase, won't tiptoe, won't play the receiver, those people slowly leave. Not in a storm. They just stop coming back after the last freeze. So they end up surrounded by exactly 2 kinds of people. The ones patient enough to keep decoding the silence, and then nobody else at all. And they read that shrinking room the same way they read everything. Not as, my silences drove people off. As, nobody was ever really there for me. The proof and the cause wearing the same coat. Now here is where you should stop. Because if you've been picturing someone else this entire time, you've only been reading the easy half of it. You've done this. Maybe never for a week. Maybe just for an afternoon, or the exact length of one drive home. But you have gone quiet at someone on purpose and made very sure they could tell. You told yourself, at the time, that you just didn't feel like talking. That you needed a minute. And maybe you did. But watch for the tell. You checked. At some point you checked whether they had noticed. You clocked whether they'd come after you, whether the door landing had actually been heard. Someone who truly only wants quiet does not check whether the quiet got noticed. The checking is the entire confession. That was never solitude. It was a message with the address already on it, waiting for the delivery to land. And you know exactly which people you do it to. Not the whole world. Not the ones you could lose without it leaving a mark. The 1 or 2 who's coming to find you is the only proof that ever lands. The people whose silence back would actually break you. Those are the ones you go quiet at. Which tells you what the quiet was really for. It was never the cold shoulder it looked like from the outside. It was the most exposed thing you have, dressed up as the coldest thing you have, so you would never have to say it with your face. Come and get me. Come prove I'm worth crossing the house for. Said in the one language that lets you deny you ever said a word. So the next time it goes quiet on you, the sealed room, the one-word morning, the door timed to your steps on the stairs, you'll know you're not being shut out. You're being called. Badly, backwards, in the only dialect they were ever handed. Someone in there is standing very still, facing the wall, listening for your feet on the stairs.